You're strapped into a 4x4, driving deep into the desert. And then, out of nowhere, the car hits something. Quicksand. The driver jumps out, but vanishes beneath the surface.
So then everybody in the car just starts panicking because they're like, where the hell has he just gone? He's drowned in quicksand. And then, so they start trying to climb out the roof of the car. And as they're coming out, this giant lizard appears. And it's crawling towards them and like spitting at them and stuff.
But what looked like disaster was in fact entertainment, designed and constructed for a prank show. Beneath the sand lies a deep tank, a hydraulic lift, and safety divers hidden in pitch black water. And for this week's guest, it was one of the most difficult, dangerous, and unforgettable builds of his career.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to another episode of No Ordinary Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. I am your host, Chris Barron, and each week I sit down with a guest whose job is far from ordinary. We explore how they got there, what it's really like behind the scenes, and then I ask them to relive the single most unforgettable experience of their career. Now, if you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow us or subscribe, and that way you won't miss out on any of the incredible guests we have lined up for you. And our guest this week is one of the wizards who helps conjure up movie magic. Not with CGI, but with real fire, water, and effects. From detonating double-decker buses in London to building elaborate alien worlds on Star Wars Andor, his job is to make us believe it's real. David Rigley-Williamson is a special effects artist whose work has taken him from small indie sets to Emmy award-winning masterpieces, and he's even picked up a Star Wars acting credit along the way. And as you heard in that intro, David's big story takes us to the deserts of Abu Dhabi, where a prank show turned into one of the most cursed and difficult shoots of his career. So stay tuned for a gripping behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to create these effects and the surprising challenges that come with it. You're listening to No Ordinary Monday. Let's get into the show. All right, David Rigley-Williamson, welcome to the podcast. How you doing today, man? Great to see you.
Okay, you too. Thank you very much, man.
Your beard is looking majestic as ever, I have to say.
No, you too.
Yeah.
Mine is probably a lot whiter than when you last saw it.
Yeah. I think that I want to start. I mean, we were housemates when I moved to London way back in the day, when I was working, and we became good friends there. And I think that just before we get into your stuff, I wanted to share an anecdote for kind of how badass you are in some ways. And the anecdotes is when I asked you to come and help me on a documentary project for the BBC about hypnosis. Do you remember?
I do.
Yeah. So to give you to preface this, I was doing a documentary for the BBC about placebo effect, hypnosis, and I found a dentist in Glasgow who offered essentially drug-free wisdom tooth extraction. And funnily enough, I couldn't find anyone who was crazy or silly enough to do one. And then we were in the car one day driving somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, I'm struggling with this."
We were on the way back from climbing.
Yeah, we were on the way back from climbing. That was it. And I was like,
"Oh,
my week's been really tough. I can't find someone." And you're like, "I'll do it."
Yeah. No, I remember I had like an annoying wisdom tooth that was growing at a funny angle, and I never got around to sorting it out at all. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? That could be fun." I obviously had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself in for. But yeah, it was that was a hell of an experience.
And you literally, like, and again, it's one of those things, I wouldn't have believed it unless I was in the room filming it. You did. There was nothing else apart from hypnosis. Sat you in the chair, got into trance, and then literally extracted a wisdom tooth from your mouth without anything, not even a paracetamol.
So I'd never really sort of believed in the stage show sort of hypnosis, but I had a pretty open mind. I was like, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and your pain levels out of 10 never reached beyond, what was it?
See, it was a 2, really. Like
Oh, it's
it.
crazy.
You know what? If you struggle with it with the injections and
Yeah.
stuff, I would recommend it for sure.
Well,
Maybe have a little bit more time
yeah,
learning the ins and outs of it than I
yeah,
did. But
yeah, brilliant. Well, the reason I wanted
yeah,
to tell that story is because I think that that's something that I would struggle with because, and many people, but like I've got a very analytical brain and very sort of like, not to say you don't, but I think that you've got a more artistic brain and you're more open to things. And that sort of, I guess, leads me
right.
into like what you've chosen or what you've gotten into as a job. So I guess what is the most interesting way to describe what you do for a living?
Well, I work in special effects, film and TV, and it's basically like so I do physical effects and rather than CGI or anything.
Yeah.
So we create all of the physical things that you have to interact with, and that's anything from like wind and rain and or like a prop that has to do with a very specific thing to massive explosions.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's that sort of physical interaction with it that yeah is definitely the most interesting part for me. And the crazy things that you end up doing uh, is yeah. I love that every day is a completely different challenge. Um, and yeah, the project can be ridiculously long, or you've got loads of time to do it, or you've got 45 minutes, and I need that thing immediately.
So even on
You
these
know?
big, massive, multi-million-dollar projects, like you would still, they've been planned in the planning sometimes for years.
Oh
You might
yeah,
have someone on Sunday go like, "Oh, by the way, I've had a new idea out of nowhere. Can we do this?"
it could be that, or it could even literally be you're in the middle of filming and the director or whoever just has an idea, and they're like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this?"
Oh my God.
And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, let's yeah, sure, let's go back to the workshop and see what we can do." And I think that's the bit that I enjoy the most
Right.
is that sort of problem solving aspect of it, and it's how the hell can we just grab all these things we have around us and make something of it, you know?
And what's some of the weirdest, coolest, most incredible stuff that you've been making recently on set that you can tell us about? Because I guess some of the projects that you're working on now are kind of still under wraps and NDAs and stuff, right?
Yes, no, for sure. Probably. So the thing that I think is the coolest thing I've worked on recently would be so it was season 2 of Andor, the Star Wars series,
Which is amazing, by the
and
way. It's
yeah,
really cool.
thank you very much. I
I'm
just
giving
learned
I'm
it's
giving you full credit for it, by the way. No one else deserves
yeah.
credit.
Thank you very much. But it actually just got nominated for an Emmy for special effects,
Brilliant. Well
which
deserved.
I
Oh,
thought
for
was
special
incredible.
effects.
Yeah.
Is that your first one?
It's the first project I've ever been on that's been nominated. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was amazed. It was by far the biggest production I've ever been on.
Mm.
And it just every day on set you were just in awe of the world building that they created. It was just absolutely incredible. And from my point of view, it was a much bigger project than I'd ever worked on, and I was given a lot more responsibility in terms of some of the things we were building.
Hmm.
One of the first things that I had to do, so when you watch it in the series, I'm not really spoil it for anyone who's not seen it, but so the Ghorman planet,
Yep.
the square that you can see it in the trailers and stuff. There's a big like memorial fountain in the center of that, and that fountain we had to make practical.
Hmm.
So it doesn't look like a lot. You don't even think about it when you're watching it, but to make that thing practical was an incredible task.
Wow.
And this thing was the size of like, it was the size of like a 400-meter running track. It was huge. It was absolutely incredible. And what was amazing about it is that the entire thing was built from scratch. Alone, it took, I think it was nearly 3 months from start to finish for that fountain alone.
Bloody hell.
With me and another sort of 4 or 5 people.
And there's nothing like, it's not you can buy any of this stuff like off the shelf. It's all pretty, every time you have to create like unique solutions to everything.
100%, yeah. So we had to build our own pool heater and filter from scratch.
Oh my God.
I did all of the plumbing stuff, so it was all new to me at the time. I've done a lot of other stuff in the past, but not of this scale.
Yeah.
And then I had to design a system where I could turn on and off various different parts of the fountain.
Oh my God.
And like make sure that well, one, you had this massive tank outside. We had 20,000 litres because we needed a top up, but you got these massive tanks outside. You have to keep on top of like how much water you're pumping into the set as well as how much you're pumping out so that you don't flood the set.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning, like, if anything goes wrong, like if the fountain doesn't work on a set, just give us a sense of like what's at stake. Like, what would happen if you're in the middle of like an important take and your fountain suddenly starts to overflow or underflow or something? Like, what? How much pressure is on to nail it?
It would be well, millions and millions and millions of pounds wasted because on those sets we had like 400 or 500 extras, all writing in the square. You had tens of stunt performers and all the main actors and everything going on at the same time. And yeah, you're just sort of operating it in a container at the back on radio, and you've got no eyes on the thing, so it's just
Do you feel that pressure?
It's quite. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy being on set and seeing it all come together, and it's a little bit of chaos every time you're doing something like that. It's really cool to see it all come together for sure.
Did you ever think, like, I mean, stepping onto a Star Wars set like must be absolutely surreal every time you do it?
It really was. It really was. The bit for me was when we had that TIE Avenger in the forest, and we were doing nights for weeks and weeks and weeks doing that sequence, and they were really brutal nights as well. It was cold, it was wet because it was heavy rain. So it was a pretty miserable time, but it was also absolutely incredible because you're standing there at night, you've got all these lights on it, and then we're bringing the smoke in, and just that thing sat there. It looked it looked like you were in the scene. It's just it's mind blowing. I loved it.
God, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Literally living people's dreams, man. Yeah. I was checking out your IMDb before we jumped on, and I noticed you have one acting credit.
I do.
Tell us what that acting credit is.
That would be really funny. Basically, in Andor, there's a few scenes where you have the big hangars and stuff with the X-wings, and the like rebels are getting ready, and they wanted people in the background to be welding and fixing things. So we have these spark generators that we use that on a button just spray out a load of sparks, and but the thing is, you can't hand over these to anybody. You've got to know how to use them. So it ended up that a few of us got dressed up. We got put into costume, and so I became an X-wing mechanic for several weeks.
That's so cool, man.
So it was quite funny. I was sat there watching it to see when I might turn up, and you don't see my face, but you see me from a distance, and then me just my back welding away on top of an X-wing,
sparking away. Yeah, you've definitely got more of A rebel's look than an Imperial's look for sure.
Yes, and no, for sure. They did want. They were like, they were unsure about the beard, so they like tucked it all underneath and made it look a bit shorter,
Really?
which was interesting.
I mean, come on,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Like,
it was really funny.
if they asked you to trim your beard, would you have done it for?
I'd be like, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. No, you can get somebody else.
Seriously? Wow, the beard
Yeah,
comes
no,
before a Star Wars cameo. That's insane.
yeah, no. I'm all good. I'll keep it. Someone else can do the
The beard will
welding.
grow back, man.
Um, yeah, I know, but I haven't seen my chin in years, and I'm all good.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I like to ask folks to jump on about essentially their origin story.
Right.
What did you want to be as a kid? Do you remember?
I haven't got a clue. I all all I know is that I remember being a kid and just I knew like I've definitely always been I've always loved like taking things apart and seeing how they worked and building stuff. Like my family have always done DIY and
Hmm.
like done everything themselves, and I've always helped out all the time. And I definitely remember that I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. I didn't have a clue. To the point where I remember being at school one day in art, and the art teacher was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "No, I don't know." She's like, "Well, why don't you go to an art degree?" I was like, "Cool, I'll do that." So yeah, I got into Loughborough University and did fine art, and I absolutely loved it. It's a great time. I did work really hard. I came out with a good degree, and yeah, but I still, even after leaving uni, I did not know what I wanted to do at all. Um, I sort of specialized in photography. When towards the end, I did like a photography part of the course, and that for me was I really enjoyed it. So when I finished uni, I was like, maybe I'll become a photographer. I don't really know, but at the same time, didn't really want to be like a wedding photographer
Mm.
or anything like that. I wasn't. I'm never very good at taking photos of people. And then a mate at the time, he was like, "I'm moving down to London because he was doing a PhD." So him and a mate had a flat and they had a spare room down in South Wimbledon. And he was like, "Do you want to come?" I was like, "So I'm not doing anything else." So I just went and I moved to London on a whim. And
Wow.
yeah, and when I got there, I didn't really have much of a plan thinking back. No plan, in fact, to the point where I ended up being on the dole for 2 weeks
Oh, wow.
because I was just like, well, now what do I do?
Yeah, yeah.
So I frantically searched for a job. I got a job in a pub. Um, so I've done a lot of pub work before, so it was quite good, easy work. And it wasn't until basically my housemate shouted at me saying, "What are you doing? Like you're just bumbling along working in a pub. Why
And
don't you
you're
do
probably like what, like
do something?"
21 by this point?
I think yeah, I was early 20s.
Yeah,
Early 20s at this point. I did 4 years at uni.
yeah.
Yeah, so something like that. And he was like, "You're really good at building stuff. Why don't you find a job in
Yeah.
set construction?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because it never even crossed my mind that I could do something like that.
Yeah.
So I sent some emails about. I literally Googled set construction at the time, and one of the first things that popped up was is a guy called Michael Mulligan. He was a bit of a one-stop shop for he was like an art director, construction manager, prop master, all in one.
Mm.
Did a lot of like commercials, music videos, things like that. But his website was really impressive.
Yeah.
He got all of the right things on there. So I
Yeah.
was like, this looks really cool, big outfit. Um, and yeah, sent him an email. He got back to me, needed a set of hands on something. It was a History Channel advert, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, got there and he got me straight to work. We were like painting the studio, and then he was like, "I need to make this little fire." Just gas fire. Can you drill some holes in this thing? He's like, yep, sure. So straight away, I think we gelled quite a lot there. And then yeah, I became his right hand man for I think for nearly 4 years.
Yeah. That's
Just
roughly
off that sort of random email.
That's roughly when we met as well. I think you were working with Michael.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was still very early days of me working in the film industry, and yeah, and it was very much jumping in the deep end because he was a one man band, and it was it was a hell of a lot to figure out. I'd never worked in any film respect whatsoever, so it was finding out the hard way of how it all works and who's who, and because there is a bazillion different people on a set.
Yeah.
There's so many different departments, and knowing who's who and who's responsible for what, and yeah, it was a lot to learn. But it was good because some of the things we did, because he was a bit of a one-stop shop, it meant that we had to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Like one day you're building these little props to do something, or the next day you're building a sort of an entire house for a film.
Oh my God, yeah.
We did literally anything. And then I think that like it sort of set me up really well because we were doing a build for Oak Boot Experience or something. I can't remember. It was basically this thing that went around like Westfields, and you could go and win stuff. There's a big like Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
And I built all of the sort of set part of it and the wheel and everything, but the motor mechanism that made it spin when you press the button, that was built by Artem. It was a special effects company, and they basically came along to do something on the motor, and they saw that I built everything, and they're like, if you've got any downtime, when you come work for us. And I was like, yeah, cool. So that was basically I started. I can't remember when it was. I think it was about early 2015. Was when I first started working at Artem. And yeah, I just basically never looked back. The everything they built there was amazing at the time. I did all different things under the sun you can dream of. It was every day was different. I loved it.
Yeah, because it was kind of like Michael, as you say, it was just like small scale, one guy and you basically building everything. Doing a lot of stuff.
Yes,
and then Artem
yeah.
was like next level up. I visited a couple of times. It was a big outfit. Doing proper.
It was. Yeah, it was a hell of a learning curve. A whole new set of things to learn, and because I've never done anything like big fire jobs, or we started learning how to do pyrotechnics, and
yep.
I
remember, is Artem that there was a film that you were doing? Was it the Jackie Chan one or the
Foreigner?
The Foreigner, where you blew up a bus on a bridge somewhere.
Yes.
And like you had to notify
Lambeth Bridge in the center of town.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like you literally like rigged a bus to blow up.
Yeah. So it was basically we got this bus into the workshop, and we spent a couple of weeks stripping it all out back to a complete shell. Needed to still be able to drive, and then we had to reinforce it because the lower deck of the bus had to have about 20 stunt performers on it.
Oh,
so
geez,
the bus itself was actually had people inside it when it exploded, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but it was very far. I was stood on the bridge when it went off, and it was incredible to witness. Yeah.
What's that feeling seamlessly when you see it? When all that work goes into a single explosion and it goes well, like what is that feeling like?
It definitely is what makes me love this job is just that you can put months and months and months of work into something for a single moment. It could be a second.
Yeah.
But if it works flawlessly, it's amazing. Like I love doing one take wonders.
Amazing. So you start with Michael, small set, you're doing some good jobs, you got recognized by Artem, jumped over there for a bit, doing with Artem, and then similar thing happened again when you jumped to Star Wars, was it?
Yeah, so definitely I got to a point in Artem where I was just doing a lot of the same, like similar jobs, and I really wanted to, get my teeth stuck into something a bigger production. But the thing is, it's like it's still very much an industry where if you need to know people. It's really tricky to get your foot in the door. Like they still don't really do like CVs or anything. It's word of mouth to get work. So
Wow. It's patience, also, being good at your job, being patient, but also networking to a degree where you're meeting the right people and at the right
yeah,
time.
for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm very good at selling myself, but I do believe in like hard work,
Yeah.
and if you always put as much effort as you can into everything you do, then eventually it'll get noticed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's sort of how I've ended up where I am.
Brilliant.
Because yeah, I've never been very good at networking at all. Like I've just
It's
sort of
tough. Yeah.
fallen into where I am now, and I
Yeah.
know I'm very lucky, but
Oh, well
yeah, it's
deserved as
I'm not.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, saying that you've done Star Wars, you've done big films with big actors, you've done big explosions and all sorts of stuff, And in saying all that, on this show, we ask our guests to kind of bring us or share with us that one sort of extraordinary tale that sort of stands out amongst all the rest. But so I mean, what is it? What is it in your perspective? What story stands out for you?
I think I think the one for me, bar like the incredible worlds that I've worked on in the Star Wars, I think the one that still stands out that was the most intense, crazy job I've ever been on was back in 2017,
Hmm.
and it was a Middle Eastern prank show, and I think from day one we should have known how crazy it was going to be. But so basically, he's a famous artist that uh, likes to prank celebrities. And so basically, what he did was he got a load of celebrities
Hmm.
and invited them to go on like a 4x4 sort of desert challenge
Yeah.
thing. And so they'd come along, and then they'd be, they wouldn't know that he's involved at this point. They've just been invited to go on a drive in the desert.
Yeah.
Um, and so they'd have this driver. They were in like a Land Rover Defender
Hmm.
and driving over the dunes and all this sort of stuff. And then they come over the top of this dune, and there's like a pretty innocent looking patch of sand. So the driver drives down and goes into it to find out that it's quicksand.
Hmm.
And immediately the sort of Land Rover starts sinking. So the driver tries to get out to sort of help, but he just disappears into the sand. He's
What,
gone.
like,
And so
wait,
everyone,
so he goes under like he's
he
sucked
goes
into the
under,
quicksand under,
is
like, below
sucked
his
into the
head.
quicksand. Yeah,
Oh
gone.
my God.
So then everybody in the car just starts panicking because they're like, where the hell has he just gone? He's drowned in quicksand. And then so they start trying to climb out the roof of the car.
Yeah.
And as they're coming out, this giant lizard appears. And it's crawling towards them and like spitting at them and stuff. So everybody's just utterly panicking at this point, like, what is going on? And then it's revealed Ramez, like, he pulls off the head because he's inside the lizard. It's a
Oh my
creature
God.
costume. And he's like, oh, I got you, sort of thing. And all hell breaks loose at that point. But
Jeez. So basically, the brief was like,
and
we basically want to drive a car to quicksand. The driver has to get sucked
yeah,
under, and then a big lizard has to come out and scare everybody.
exactly.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So they broke it down a little bit, and an amazing creature effects company from LA came over to do the lizard.
Mhm.
So they built all of the creature costume and put all this stuff into it. But our task was to figure out how to make a car disappear in quicksand.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it looked like quicksand. So what we ended up doing was one team in the middle of the desert built this like massive steel tank. So dug a huge hole in the ground and built this
Oh my God.
this tank that must have been, I think it must have been about 20 meters square. It's a huge tank with like sloped sides and then a really deep bit in the middle.
Yeah.
And then so what we did was,
Like, how deep is it?
I think it was a good 6 meters deep.
Oof.
It was it was
So it's like a
massive.
20 by 20 in
Um,
a 6 meter deep tank.
it's like central tank, yeah.
Big square thing.
And then so what we did was we built this basically a hydraulic scissor lift, but from scratch. Because the idea was that the scissor lift's down in the bottom of the tank, and it is at its full extension level with the ground, and then you have these two ramps that come out to the scissor lift. So imagine there's no quicksand there or whatever.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah.
The car drives along these two ramps onto the top of the scissor lift, comes to a stop, and then as the scissor lift lowers, the ramps sort of like well, detach,
Yeah.
and the scissor lift lowers the car down. But like that bit was is a challenge to build a scissor lift from scratch.
And also, not to say that
you know,
need to get a very good driver to hit the marks perfectly, right? Because if he
Oh,
misses a scissor
honestly,
lift,
yeah.
then everyone's screwed.
Yeah, he's just in. He just top. He did a couple of times in the tests.
Oh, Jesus.
Because we had these little bumpers on the side of it, so it sort of forced his wheels to go in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had some very tactical plants that sort of showed him
Okay,
where
gotcha,
to
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically, back in the workshop, we built this scissor lift, and so it had to be completely flat packable because obviously we had to ship it out to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So just a lot of steel work all welded together, hydraulic rams, and a hydraulic controller, and then we tested it in the car park again. So set it all up, put a car on top of it, and sent it up and down a few times, and happy days. And then yeah, packaged it all up, and I think it took about 2 months to get there.
Oh, wow.
So
That's, yeah.
very much in advance. Went
Sea
on a
freight.
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, so we built it all, got all prepared, and we didn't really know what we were getting in for, in terms of what it was going to be like. None of us had ever worked in the desert before. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, thinking back now, it was an absolute nightmare even getting there. I think it took us like 32 hours to get to Abu Dhabi.
What, from the UK?
From day one on that job, when we left, it was chaos. So we got on the flight, I think about an hour in, somebody up in first class was smelling smoke. So they're like, right, we've got to land in Frankfurt.
Oh,
So
no.
they dropped us off there, sat for 8 hours till another plane arrived, got on that plane, and then a massive storm had happened by this point.
Yeah, that should have been your first red flag that this shoot is cursed.
Yeah, honestly, we were like, okay, right, this is the start of the job. And then, yeah, then we got there, and nobody had told us that the hotel we were staying at, we thought it was a different hotel, but the hotel we were staying at was an hour and a half away from the location. And every single day we were all piled into these pickups and had to drive across sand dunes for like hours to get to the location in the
Oh, my
middle of the
God.
desert. Yeah, it was crazy. And they had to like stop off and let all the air out the tires so you had grip on the sand.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
you know, all
jeez.
these local drivers that take
So-
you up and over the sand dunes.
I mean, the desert is massive. I mean, I was there recently. It is massive in that area. Like, I mean, why would they?
Honestly,
Do
yeah.
you know why the location producer picked like some
So-
random spot?
The particular place that they'd found was actually quite close to a very, very nice hotel, like a really, really like so whatever it is now,
Yeah.
6-star hotel.
Yeah.
And that was where they were helicoptering in all the celebrities to. So they
Yep.
start here, let's go on your sort
Yep.
of desert drive
Holiday,
or
yeah.
whatever. But where we were staying was miles away, and it was a nightmare to and from. So day one, we were like all very hot and bothered. Got
Yeah.
to the location.
And this is summertime as well, right?
Yeah, it was 50 degrees
Yeah.
C some days.
Oh, Jesus.
It was utterly like we were not prepared for that whatsoever. Like most days it was high 40s, but some
Yeah.
days it was
50.
incredibly
That's
hot.
insane. Dangerously hot.
Yeah, so we got there and all of the equipment had been sort of unloaded. And by that I mean thrown off the side of the lorry into the sand. So
What?
stuff was just, and it had been there for like a week before we got there.
Like you're
So it was covered in sand. We had to like dig all the bits out, and we were like, "What is this?" And then it wasn't even quite in the right place, so we had to load it all onto this massive, like, it looked like something out of Mad Max. This huge lorry. I've never seen anything so big in my life. Load it all onto that and drive it up over the dunes to the location. And by that point, the um, this local crew had started building, like digging the hole and building the tank and whatever. So we just turned up to this massive metal hole in the ground and was like, right, you've got to assemble this scissor lift.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got cracking with that and everything together. Day one, they kind of forgotten us that we were there. So it was just me and two other guys in the middle of the desert with a couple of local workers, and the production team had driven off to go do something else. But it was hours and hours in the middle of the desert until they came back for us, and we were just been working away, and we were like, this is too much. So from that point on, we every day we went back to the nice hotel and had a rest for like the hottest part of the day for
Yeah.
like 3 hours because it was
Yeah.
just too much, and then
Yeah,
you
it's
work a bit
insane.
later into the night. But we never sort of realized it was going to be like that, and it was just so grueling,
Yeah.
really, really grueling, and
And the
it
heat just
I
takes
think
it out of
took
you,
us.
doesn't it?
Honestly,
Just
you're just
destroys
exhausted.
you.
You're lifting heavy bits of steel
Yeah.
and then lowering it down in and bolting it all together. But it was quite bad. I got really sick on like day 3. I got really bad
yeah.
food
I
poisoning.
remember you got food poisoning.
Yeah, that was really tough. And so I was out for a couple of days, and so one of the guys had to ring a boss, and he was like, "You've got to send some more people. We can't just do this with 2 of us."
Yeah.
So a couple more of us came out, and we ended up, building it all. And so the plan for it was, you get this tank, you got a scissor lift where the car drives onto, and then in order to make it look like quicksand, was you fill it full of water,
Yep.
and then on the top of that you float like cork granules.
Yep.
So you can get them in all various different sizes and whatever, but there's one that at a distance looks like sand.
So it was convincing, was
Yeah,
it? Like
so
if you were just driving over the top of it, you wouldn't really notice it was
yes,
something different.
the one we got was like, it was a bit darker,
Yeah.
but what we ended up having to do was like spread it out across the desert a little bit,
Yeah.
just to sort of try and blend it in, so it just looked like a
Gotcha.
bit of a, because we put like some trees in there, like palm trees and things, so
Yeah.
it was a different
A weird
space
patch, yeah.
as not just, yeah, exactly, something to look at, I suppose, for
Jeez.
the
So
guys
you
in
basically
the
got
car.
this like 20 by 20 and a 6-meter deep tank, filled it with water up to,
Yeah,
I mean, how deep was the
up to
cork
about
layer?
2 foot from the top, so it was quite a thick layer of cork.
So
So
two
it was
feet
a,
of cork.
yeah, it was. I cannot remember how many hundreds of bags of cork we emptied onto this top of the
Top of the
water.
water.
But obviously, because it's like the tank wasn't perfectly sealed and also incredibly hot, so every
Yeah.
day a new tanker of water would have to come and top it up because
Yeah.
it sunk down a little bit. But yeah, it was incredible. You couldn't see the edge of the tank. We all fell in it at least once
Really?
because you're just walking along because you have to blend in the edge.
Yeah.
So like the director fell in once, Rames fell in. It's like
Oh my God. So
you've
wait,
got
so
no
when you
idea where the edge of the tank is.
when you fall in, like, is it easy to swim? Like, you can keep yourself afloat, or is it
Well,
like,
it was so the wider part of the tank was shallow enough that you could stand up.
okay, yeah,
So that you wouldn't go too deep. If you
Yeah.
went to the center where the scissor lift was, you would go under.
oof,
Yeah, and so for that, well, and for the bit where the driver disappears, they basically had 2 specialist divers, and they came in because they're trained because it's pitch black. There's no
Yeah,
light
it's like
down there
cave
'cause the
diving.
cork completely. Honestly, I think they tried to put a couple of little tiny LED lights in there, but it just didn't work. The dust from the cork had just settled in the water, so
Yeah,
the guy's like,
zero
we can't see
visibility.
a hand in front of her face. And yeah, so they had these divers, like you'd start the day, they'd go get ready and whatever, and like, right, okay, we're ready to go, and they'd get in the water and just disappear. And then
For how
so
long?
one of them, so I thought for like an hour or so at a time, because I think we did 2 episodes a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just I don't know how they did it. It was incredible, and they'd get in, just in complete darkness, and they'd wait because there was no like radio communication or
Oh my
whatever.
God. So dangerous.
So
And the
they,
water was 50 degrees,
yeah,
I guess. And the
yeah.
water was like hot as well.
I think it was warm for sure,
Yeah.
just from the ambient temperature, but it
Yeah.
wasn't hot because the cork sort of insulated it.
Yeah, fair.
Um,
So it wasn't like
but
bath
it
water or something.
no, but it also was grim.
Yeah.
Like
That's
they'd put
tough.
drinking water in it, but there's no real filtration system.
Yeah.
So within days it had gone green.
Oh,
Like the algae immediately grew on it,
yeah.
and then we just covered it up. So it wasn't the best conditions. Um, and yeah, they basically had to wait down there. So one of them was a safety guy on one side of it, just in case anybody fall in, he can help them out.
Yeah.
And the other one, he was there so that we had this mini scissor lift. It's meant for like fixing your motorbike or whatever.
Yeah.
So we bolted one of them to the bottom. So where the driver gets out, he can get out onto this lift, and then we can lower it down.
Yep.
So he goes into the water. And yeah, so basically one diver's waiting there for you can tell when this car drives onto this scissor lift, it's noisy, comes to a stop, so he knows the action, he knows about how long the time it'll take until the guy steps out. As soon as he steps out, he sort of grabs his leg so he knows he's there.
Yeah.
Then scissor lift starts going down, and then he just pulls him under and hands him
A
a regulator, and they both just hide,
Oh
hide
my
in
God.
darkness. Yeah, and it was So it took us a couple of weeks to build everything, and we didn't have a day off. We didn't stop because it was just too much to do.
Yeah.
I think we ended up working like 31 days straight throughout
Jeez.
the whole thing because we were building everything. There's lots of delays, get sick or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the shooting started. We're filming 2 episodes a day. It was just go, 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 to the point where we had to have a spare vehicle.
Yeah.
So we'd prepped all the vehicle and like drilled loads of holes in it so it'd sink nice and quickly. But there was a guy there, a maintenance guy that would basically take the car back to a workshop and clean it all out and get it running again because they've just sank it
So-
in a tank of water.
And cork and everything, yeah.
Yeah, you'd open up the bonnet and it was just full.
So
So you had to like
when you're sinking the car, how deep is the car going? Like up to the windows? Like is the water coming?
the car completely disappeared.
The
by-
car
by the
completely
time-
goes under.
It completely goes under. So by the time that like the celebrities are panicking and start
Oh, they're
trying
on the
to
roof.
escape and
Yeah.
and they're on the roof and
Yeah.
then you don't know what they're going to do. They just jump off the side or jump
Yeah.
towards to try and get
Yeah.
out of this thing. And they're panicking and then
So-
the car's gone.
Oh, jeez. So
Yeah.
did you have any? Because you only got 2 divers in the water.
Yeah.
And so did you have any celebrities that did freak out and go, "I'm just jumping and trying to swim for it"?
There's quite a few definitely that tried to run away and just get out. But luckily, through the way the tank was made, that if you jumped off the side of the car, you were always jumping into the shallow part, so they could stand up.
Oh,
But
that's fair. So you could stand.
it'd
Yeah.
still make them jump. They'd jump out and they'd go up to
So
their shoulders
dangerous.
in this cork, and then they're just flailing to try and escape. I think it was it was. I think being where it was, the health and safety was a little lax for sure. But it's
Is that the sort of closest you've ever been to being like? But I guess you're still fairly green, so you can be like, This is
if I was
insane,
on that
guys.
job now, I would walk off.
Yeah. You would just be like,
100%.
I can't.
This was like sort of what would it have been, maybe 3 years into me working in effects. So I'd obviously
Yeah,
been
yeah.
in the industry for a little while, but
Yeah, I was
in
saying,
our crew,
what is
so
the
that's-
the main things that you took from that sort of crazy experience?
yeah, I think the main thing is just being able to like push through all the crazy things that are happening and still be able to get the job done. And yeah, it was a hell of a challenge that it was really difficult, but looking back on it, I'm still glad I did it. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
And to have the opportunity to go work in the middle of the desert somewhere and be part of something that's like that was brilliant. But yeah, I don't think I'd do it again. or
Well, at
certainly
least you do
if
it
it was on a
differently.
production, yeah, I'd like to do it a bit safer,
Yeah,
and I'd like to,
maybe do it in the winter
you
time rather
know,
than the summertime.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you've done Star Wars, you know, two big Star Wars
Mm,
series,
yeah.
and other things as well. I mean, where do you go from here? Like in terms of projects you want to look towards in the future, like, or if it's a project, or maybe even there's a particular special effect you want to do. Like, what's the future looking like for you?
There's a bit of a bucket list for me, of things I'd like to work on. The main one is I would absolutely love to work on a Bond.
Yeah,
Like that's the pinnacle for sort of UK production for me.
yeah,
I'd absolutely love because I think that's one of the things that sort of subconsciously drew me to this is that
mm,
as a kid watching Bond and all his gadgets and stuff,
yeah,
it was just absolutely incredible. And yeah, to be able to like I've worked with the guy that's built all the gadgets for all the Bonds in the past.
wow,
Is an incredible man that he's made all the bits and bobs, all the guns that flip out the lights, and all these little gizmos and gadgets. And I'm like, that's what I want to do, you know.
yeah,
I think that would be an absolute dream job for sure. Um, but I've definitely found myself like I'm sort of specializing in quite intricate things, like building flamethrowers and things like that, which are really fun. I didn't think that when I was burning things as a kid that it'd become my job. Um, but yeah, no,
brilliant.
it's become a very fun place to work, and
You literally,
yeah, I don't,
yeah, working in a toy shop most of your career.
yeah, every day it's like make this thing, do that. Okay, cool. Scramble a load of bits and smash it all together. It's great.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
so I always like to ask sort of people towards the end of the show just about their advice for anyone who wants to follow in your footsteps, you know, but may not have even a clue where to start. What advice would you give to people who want to try and do what you've done?
So I I I actually got an email from my old school saying, what do you do for your career? And so I think I'd really like to, go back to my school and just try and show some people what's out there because I don't think I'd be very good at it. I don't really like talking in front of people, but um, I think that it'd be really cool because even if there's just one kid that hasn't got a clue what they want to do in life and doesn't understand, that like either not very academic or whatever, but is just creative, that there are so many things in film you can do. And I just think that certainly for people that are creative, that there definitely needs to be more awareness of all the different things you could possibly do, you know. Um, even people that are not, even people that are already like in an industry outside of film, like we have plasterers and chippies and painters and
Yeah, so you don't need a degree
like every,
necessarily.
ev not at all. Like I know quite a few people that have done the special effects degree, um, and it gives you a good like basic understanding. But basically, if you've got your head screwed on and you just want to get stuck in, you don't need a degree at all to
Mm.
work in film. You just want to you know come through something creative, and I think there are a lot more avenues these days of getting in contact with various things, but I still think the best way is just get some contact details and send some emails and just be like, I really want to be part of this industry and can I come try it out? And 9 times out of 10, we always need more people. Like
Really?
there's we gotta always we're always on demand.
Yeah,
And if we can get a trainee in that's just super keen and
yeah.
you could be you know never gone to uni, 18, come straight in and go from there. And yeah, I really wish I'd been able to do that because I don't think I can even remember how old I was when I came into effects, like mid 20s
Yeah, mid 20s, something,
before
yeah.
I found it. So I'm a good 7 or 8 years behind some people.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, there definitely needs to be more awareness in schools about other jobs you can do. You know.
It's tough. It is really, really tough because,
Mm.
doing this podcast, you become aware of just the sheer variety and immense landscape of different ways you can make a living. It is
Yeah.
and I don't even know how the careers counselor even scratches the surface when they've got,
No,
300 students to talk to or whatever or
no,
work with.
I
And
don't either.
yeah,
Yeah, but also I'm definitely one for just not putting too much pressure on yourself. Like, you don't need to know at 18 what you want to do for the rest of your life. It's also, you don't need to do something for the rest of your life. Well, I don't know why people say that.
yeah,
Like, careers evolve. Like, just if you don't like it, do something else.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky in that respect that I could do that. But
Well, yeah. I mean, I
yeah,
think that anyone who loves getting up in the morning and doing what they do is extremely they've won life.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I know I am very lucky in that respect.
yeah,
But
yeah. Brill. Dave, absolutely lovely to speak with you. At the end, I always sort of say, is there anything that you would like to plug, or any socials, or even films or shows that you've worked on that you want people to go and watch?
I mean, definitely watch Andor.
Yep,
I
I second
think
that.
it's
Both
amazing.
series, they're
Yeah,
one of the amazing, amazing
yeah.
shows.
Certainly from things I've worked on, that's my favorite.
Is it?
Um,
Yeah, that's the top of the list, is it? I mean, you're in it
yeah,
as well.
definitely. Yeah, true.
Starring
That's maybe
role.
why.
X-wing
Yeah,
mechanic number 7.
yeah. I think it's episode 9 and episode 12. You'll see me on the wing somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, brilliant, man. Well,
yeah.
listen, lovely to speak with you as always. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. And
No, it's great, man. It's good.
yeah, have a great day and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much, dude.
All right. Cheers, man. Bye. And that is it for this week's episode. A huge thank you to David again for sharing his extraordinary stories. And of course, a big thanks to you as well for listening. For photos, links, and more about this episode, head to noordinarymonday.com and look for the episode page. You'll also find stuff on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and more. Next week, we are leaving the desert behind and heading to the Arctic. My guest is Sue Stockdale, an explorer who became the first British woman to ski to the magnetic North Pole. She's faced freezing winds, deadly ice, and moments where her life and her team's survival has hung in the balance. So follow us and subscribe now so you don't miss it. If you'd like to share your own career story with us, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch via our socials. You can email hello, HELLO, at noordinarymonday.com, or you can use the submit your story page on our website. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please do 2 super quick things for us. Just click 5 stars, and if you've got time, just write a quick review. And the other thing is tell a friend. It really helps us grow the show and attract more amazing guests and inspire new listeners. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Chris Barron. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great Monday, everyone.